Have you ever noticed that people only seem to call you when something goes wrong? You're the one who listens for hours, the one who gives advice, the one who somehow always knows what to say. And at first, it feels good. It makes you feel important, needed, valuable. But after a while, something changes. You start feeling mentally exhausted, drained by problems that were never yours to carry in the first place. And the strange part is, even when you try to stop helping people, your brain won't let you. Because this habit isn't just about being nice. Psychology says there are deeper reasons behind why some people become emotional fixers. And most of the time, they don't even realize it's happening. The first reason is identity. At some point in your life, you probably became known as the strong one, the reliable one, the person who always keeps it together. And slowly, your brain turned that role into your identity. So now, every time someone has a problem, you automatically feel responsible for fixing it. Not because you truly want to, but because your mind believes that's what gives you value. Without realizing it, you begin connecting love with usefulness. You start thinking, if I stop helping people, will they still need me? If I stop solving problems, will I become replaceable? And that's dangerous. Because when your self-worth depends on being useful, you stop allowing yourself to simply exist as a human being. The second reason is something psychologists call emotional contagion. Some people don't just notice emotions, they absorb them. Maybe you've experienced this before. A friend walks into the room stressed, and suddenly your mood changes too. Someone texts you about their breakup, and now your entire night feels heavy. Even when nobody asks for your help directly, your brain still reacts as if their pain belongs to you. And because your mind hates emotional tension, it starts searching for a solution. Fix the problem, calm the situation, make everyone okay again. Because deep down, you think their peace will finally give you peace. But here's the problem. When you constantly absorb everyone else's emotions, you slowly lose connection with your own. The third reason usually begins in childhood. A lot of fixers grew up in environments where they had to become emotionally mature too early. Maybe you were constantly criticized. Maybe you had emotionally unstable parents. Maybe you became the person who kept the family calm during conflict. So your brain adapted. You became hyper-aware of people's moods, tones, and reactions. You learned how to read a room before anyone even spoke. Not because you wanted to, but because your nervous system believed staying emotionally alert would keep you safe. And years later, your brain still carries that same survival pattern. Now, every problem feels like your responsibility to manage, even when it isn't. The fourth reason is control. People who overthink struggle with uncertainty. Their minds are constantly trying to predict what could go wrong next. And sometimes, fixing other people becomes a way to feel temporarily in control. If your friend is making bad decisions, you step in. If someone's life is falling apart, you try to organize it. Because solving problems gives your brain relief. For a moment, chaos feels manageable. But over time, this becomes exhausting. You start carrying situations that were never your job to carry. And eventually, you burn out trying to save people who were never trying to save themselves. And finally, the fifth reason is fear of rejection. This one hurts the most. Sometimes people become overgivers because they're terrified of being abandoned. So they help, they sacrifice, they overextend themselves. Not because they're weak, but because deep down, they believe they must earn their place in people's lives. They become the therapist friend, the dependable one, the person who says, "I'm fine," even when they're completely overwhelmed. Because asking for help themselves feels uncomfortable. What if they become a burden? What if people leave once they stop being useful? So, instead, they keep giving, and giving, and giving, until one day they realize something painful. The people who needed them the most never really asked how they were doing. And maybe that's why you feel lonely sometimes, even around people. But here's the truth most people never hear. You are not responsible for saving everyone. Caring about people is beautiful. Empathy is beautiful. But constantly carrying everyone else's emotional weight will slowly destroy your own peace. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is stop trying to fix everything. Because real relationships are not built on usefulness. They're built on connection. And maybe for the first time in your life, you're starting to realize that your value was never supposed to come from how much pain you could carry for other people. If this video spoke to something you've been feeling lately, subscribe to Animind. Because once you understand how your mind really works, you stop surviving for everyone else and finally start living for yourself.